Have you ever thought about knitting yourself a skirt or a dress for spring and summer? Then you've come to the right place because today I'm going to share with you my 10 favorite patterns you can knit yourself. Welcome to Good Knits. I'm Sherry and I am a Canadian expat currently living in Amsterdam for the last 7 years with my husband. This is my channel here on YouTube where I share my love of knitting. You can also find me by that name over on Instagram. Today I just want to share with you 10 patterns that are really catching my eye for spring and summer specifically. If you've been here for a while, you might know that I actually did a sister video to this last fall, which was for knitted skirts and dresses and coordinating sets for fall and winter. So if that is of interest to you, I will make sure to also link that in the show notes so that you can go check that out after. Also, these are just 10 patterns that really caught my eye the most, and I think they have differentiating characteristics and give a good variety of options for this video specifically. But I came across so many amazing patterns in my search. I've actually been saving all the patterns that I have come across in a Ravelry bundle, which you will be able to find as a companion to this video. So not only will it include the 10 patterns that I've mentioned here, but it also has, I think, currently around 30 additional patterns that I found interesting. And what I would really love is if we can crowdsource this a bit. So if there's any patterns that you feel I missed that really catch your eye, that you're interested in, or you've knitted before, please go ahead and drop that in the comments and I will make sure to add that to the Ravelry bundle so that everybody can access it. I've also been doing the same for the fall winter bundle that I put together. I have been saving new patterns to that. I will probably do an updated video with new patterns that have come out or that I found as we get closer to that season. But in the meantime, if you're already ready to start on your fall and winter dresses, go ahead and check out that Ravelry bundle because I have been adding to it as well. If you've been watching my videos recently, you will know that I am having a bit of a moment with skirts and dresses. I am currently knitting the MELIDES Dress by VertKnit for myself, hopefully in time for a trip to Sicily that I have at the end of May. And I am also doing a test knit for Anne-Catherine Stoll for the Fancy Pepita skirt, which is more of a fall pattern. So I am really loving this right now. I have, big dreams of knitting a really nice dress also for fall, maybe a coordinating set. And I just think that they're such wardrobe staples and it's just a special item that you can throw on and wear in the summer months without having to make tank tops or t-shirts. So I'm really excited to share these patterns with you today and hopefully you find something that catches your eye. And if not, hopefully you just got some good inspiration and you can follow along as other people are making these patterns. Let's not waste any more time and let's just dive straight into my list of patterns. So these are in no particular order. I am just talking through the way that I have written them out within my notes. So the first pattern I want to start with was newly released. It came out in April 2024, so it's only been available for the last month. And that is the Bicolor skirt and top, and it's by Anne-Catherine Stoll, who I also said I was just doing the test knit for. And she has so many beautiful skirts and dresses for many different seasons. So I would really suggest that you just check her out because I think no matter what, you'll be able to find a pattern from her that you enjoy. This is light fingering weight, so it will probably take a while to knit each piece, but the fact that it is separates means you could finish one and already start wearing it while you work on the other. And it's on 3mm needles. Another big benefit of this pattern is it is available in a very generous size range from triple extra small all the way to 6XL with 3 to 6 centimeters of negative ease. It is knit in intarsia style, which I've personally never tried. I've always wanted to, and this seems like an approachable pattern because it's only 2 color. So I think it's maybe a good introduction to intarsia knitting. And I also want to mention that Micah from Salt and Stone Knits, also based here in the Netherlands, she actually has an intarsia knitting class coming up on May 19th. I believe it's virtual, so maybe check that out. I'll put it in the show notes so that you can link to that. And I believe she does these quite often, so it's maybe good if you haven't tried Intarsia and you're interested. I know it's a course that I am actually considering signing up for because I would really like to be guided in that process. Another thing about this pattern is it is graded for mini and mighty length, and it does include the recommended yardage per length that you want to do. So I think it will really hold your hand throughout the pattern, and it's beautiful. So that is one of my favorites, and I think this is actually going to go high on my list for when I'm done maybe some of the other garments that I have. Next up is the Born on the Beach dress by Natalie Pellick, and this is really beautiful. It's fingering on 2.75mm needles, and one of the main reasons that I included it here is not only for the visual interest with all the texture and kind of lace details, but also because it just has a really nice size range from kids all the way to adults. So if you're a parent and you're looking for maybe a pattern that you could knit for your child as well as for yourself, this is a great option. And it really just has those like nice casual walking along the beach, but you could stop in at a nice restaurant kind of vibes. It is knit bottom up, which is maybe a deterrent for some people, but those details are just really beautiful. I think, you know, this is something that you could really have in your wardrobe for quite a while and be very happy with. It's not gonna go out of style. Then we have the Sweetheart Revenge dress by Friday Knits. This dress came out in March 2023, and I really love that this is a 2-in-1 pattern. So it has a top as well as a dress, and also short and long sleeve versions. So really a lot of variety here. It is a bit of a commitment. It's fingering weight on 3.25mm needles in this rib pattern. So it's probably not going to be the quickest knit, but it's definitely, I think, one of the most unique dresses that I came across, and really looks like something that you probably wouldn't assume would be hand knit when you first come across it. It comes in sizes extra small to 4XL, so pretty good size range there. It seems to only be available in English for now. And it does say specifically that it's for intermediate to advanced knitters, so I imagine it will be a bit more complicated in terms of the construction methods, which makes sense based on what I'm seeing from these pictures. It does mention though that it has video tutorials, so that could be really beneficial if this seems a little bit intimidating to you, but you are really interested in the overall look. Maybe buy the pattern, check out the videos, and see if it's something that you feel like you would feel comfortable knitting for yourself. Next pattern is the Olden Maxi dress by Vitra Design. I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing that correctly. I did try to look up how to pronounce it and couldn't find it. Seems to be a Norwegian designer. This is knit on DK weight yarn on 4mm needles, and it has a size range of extra small to 3XL. I think this is a really nice option if maybe some of the other patterns are scaring you off because they're fingering weight on, 3mm needles. This seems a little bit more approachable. Also the construction, the sort of loose drapey A-line, I think will be really flattering on many different people, and also just be a fairly simple knit. It is bottom up, so I imagine you kind of start at the widest circumference, do decreases to shape the dress, and then you would probably split for the straps at the front and back once you get there. So this would probably be somewhat of a mindless knit and just seems very approachable and easy, and something you can throw on in the warmer weather months. Next up is the Lime Skirt by LaPole, and I think this is just a perfect beach cover-up. So for me, this isn't something that I would personally wear around Amsterdam. It doesn't fit my personal style nor sort of the vibe of the city, but I think this is absolutely a piece that I would wear on vacation. I think it would be perfect as a beach cover-up to just go to lunch, or if you are just kind of walking around town and it's a bit more of a casual vibe. It is fingering on 3mm needles, and it's done in a net stitch pattern top down. Size range is extra small to 4XL, and I also want to mention I had quite a few patterns of LaPole's saved as I was preparing for this video, and I think she has a lot of great options. So she has a very similar pattern called the Apple Dress, which is basically this skirt with a kind of racer shaped top portion. So also if you want to make a dress as a beach cover up, or if it fits your own kind of out and about style within your city, then that is a great option. And she also has the Bonko dress, which seems to be sort of this pulled rib pattern where you can kind of see through it. I think it just has a really cool look to it. Not something I would probably wear, and I think it's a bit more involved than something I would make for a beach cover up, but both of these are saved in the Ravelry bundle that I've made, so you can find them there. Next, we have another pattern by Anne-Catherine Stoll, and that is the Crossedsummerdress. So I was trying to avoid having the same designer multiple times on this list. However, I just really love the overall look and feel of this one. I think the fact that it has kind of the crisscross straps on the back, but a very simple overall design, it just really caught my eye and I didn't want to not include it. So this is a light fingering dress on 3.5 millimeter needles, so definitely not a quick knit. Also, I will say it has a limited size range at the moment, extra small to XL, and I considered if I should include it or not. But then as I was reading the Ravelry notes, I did notice that she is trying to actively increase the size range for all her patterns, but she's still looking for testers for the larger sizes for this. So if you reach out to her and she has all this information in her Ravelry page, you could actually get one of those sizes if you want to test knit it. You could get it for free. So that's a great way to also increase the size range for everybody for this pattern. So that's also why I wanted to include it, because hopefully there's some people watching here that would be able to help her test knit this. This dress, just while it's simple, has so many really interesting details to it, between the crisscross straps on the back, I think the ribbing panels on the bottom, the side slit. It's just really beautiful. I'm not sure how bra friendly it is. Hopefully you could actually wear it with a strapless and it wouldn't be seen. It's maybe not a dress I would make for myself because of that, because I personally hate strapless bras, but I think it is a good option. And this is probably one of my favorite dresses on the list. Then we have another skirt, and that is the She's Electric skirt by Lauren Riker. So I really like this because I think it has storm sweater vibes by Petite Knit. This Aztec pattern that is around the whole circumference of the skirt is just very interesting. I think, I wouldn't personally make it in this really, really vibrant yellow, but I think you could tone it down with a more neutral fabric and it would go with a lot of different things. It is sport weight yarn on 3.25 millimeter needles, and size range is extra small to 1XL. So again, not the most robust size range, but it is a really interesting pattern. And honestly, I couldn't find a ton of skirts to include in this that I really liked. So I did want to include it here because it was the most interesting from a pattern perspective. While it looks intimidating, it does say that it's beginner friendly because the pattern, similar to the storm sweater, is just made up of knits and purls. So it looks more intimidating than it is. And the fact that it's on this simple shape of just knitting in the round for a kind of mini skirt look, I think it wouldn't take you too long, even though it is on quite small needles. A pattern that I definitely couldn't miss putting on this list is the Nata Dress by Olden Knitwear. So this is a DK weight pattern on 4 millimeter needles and has a great size range from 1 to 12, which it says accommodates bust measurements of 75 to 130 centimeters. So the pattern includes mini, mighty, and maxi dress lengths, which I think is great. It also includes the yardage for those. So this is interesting because from what I've seen of others that have made this, it is a pattern where not only can you modify obviously the overall length, but you can also modify where the back sits. So in the pattern photos, you do have this really sort of low cut back, which obviously would not be bra friendly, but I know Emily from High Fiber Knits modified hers to be a higher back so that she could wear it with a bra, and hers turned out beautiful in this kind of deep chocolatey brown color. Then we have the Knit Girl Summer Top and Dress by Joanne Ho. And similar to some of the other patterns, I really love that this comes sort of with endless options. So you can knit just the top, you can knit it as a dress, you can knit it more fitted, or with the slit, without the slit. So I think this is kind of a great, price for kind of having multiple options within a pattern if you're interested in that. It is DK weight yarn, so also it would knit up a little bit faster on 4mm needles and in sizes extra small to 6XL. And I really love that also within the Ravelry listing itself, you're also seeing multiple different body types. So looks like a really interesting dress. I've never seen this before from anybody else in terms of knitting it. And yeah. It looks like also she has a discount for pattern bundles. So if you're buying 2 to 4 different patterns, she does have a code within the Ravelry listing, at least at the time of filming this, to receive 10 to 20% off as a bundle deal. So if you have been considering knitting this or it looks interesting to you, make sure you go check that out now to take advantage of the bundle deal. And then finally, no list could be complete without me mentioning the MELIDES Dress by Vertknit again. Obviously, I'm knitting this and it is one of my favorite patterns. And the reason that I really love this is it is a tailored fit. So it is completely custom to your own measurements. And part of the pattern and the reason that it's so expensive, so I believe I paid around 20 euros for it, is because you're really measuring every part of your body and then plugging that into a calculator to get back your specific tailoring factors so that you are customizing not only based on your gauge, but also on your own measurements, a fit that will be perfect to you. So this is a bit more of a complex pattern, but I really love the overall look of this design. And once you get through the top portion of it, where the majority of the complexity is, I will say now that I'm on the skirt, it's really breezing by. It's just a matter of knitting to the full mighty length as expected, and it's on fingering weight yarn on 3.25mm needles. So it is a bit more of a time commitment, but from personal experience, I'm finding that to be very much worth the effort. I also know the designer Ines is currently doing an update to this pattern, which will be coming soon. So there will probably be a bit more specific instructions for things, some corrections to things that were not clear before. So maybe keep your eyes out for that if you've been thinking about knitting this. As I was editing, I realized one important point that I forgot, which I wanted to mention, and that is, if there is a tank top or t-shirt design that you really like, you could also modify that to be a dress. It will of course take a little bit of design work from your side, but I have seen some really good examples, especially from, I think it's Cami number 5 from My Favorite Things Knitwear, people modifying that to become dresses. And I'll see if I can find some other examples. I think I've saved some on Instagram. So that's also something to keep in mind, that if you really like just a top design, maybe challenge yourself to also turn that into a dress and see how it works out for you. So that brings me to the end of this pattern roundup. Those are my 10 favorite patterns that I am eyeing right now. But as I mentioned, I've included many more within the Ravelry bundle that I will link to in the show notes. If there's anything that I missed here or within the bundle itself, please don't forget to drop a comment and share that, and I will make sure to get it added. Also, I would love to hear if there's any pattern that you're making right now that's a skirt or dress and how you're finding that process. Are you loving it? Are you hating it? Is there anything that you've learned? I know personally, it's been a little bit of a labor of love with the MELIDES dress, but I'm really enjoying it. I'm so excited for the final product because it just really feels special. I think, knitting your own skirt and dress is not something people immediately think to do for themselves. We knit a lot of probably sweaters and tank tops throughout the year, shawls, hats, but I think there's something very special about skirts and dresses. And so it's definitely something I plan to continue also into the next few seasons. I've got my eye on quite a few patterns already that I am excited to get started later. If you like this content, please don't forget to subscribe, stick around, turn on bell notifications. I do post videos every 2 to 3 weeks for more traditional podcasts, But I also am planning many more pattern roundup videos and additional content in general, which I post, roughly weekly or every 2 weeks. Thank you so much for being here. I hope you enjoyed, and I will see you next time.